Hello, this is my second check-in for my video game development class, and the progress that I have made so far, it may seem a little insignificant at first, but in the path that I'm taking to build this game, this was a very important step. So, right off the rip, I have completed my main tower that I'm going to use for my game, and that basically everything takes place on. So, the reasoning why I started with this is now that I've correctly scaled everything. It took a little bit because there were some things I had to work out, but once I have this tower, this allows me to kind of make everything scale everything else based off the tower. Plus, I get to now I'm able to make like the actual terrain, like the world besides the tower. Um, what else? That and then my next step that I was gonna do, my puzzles. I actually needed to know how big to make the puzzles so that obviously they wouldn't be too big or too small, and just the correct measurements. So let's go into the game. So I also scaled up the player a little bit because like when I first implemented everything, this tower was ginormous and the player was really small. So I also kind of scaled everything up to a size that I thought would fit. I tried to make my character like if you look in it through his eyes, he'd be someone who's on like the taller end of things. So I might need to shrink this table by like 0.05. Um, that's pretty much it. Well, obviously I'll climb the tower, but I still need to fix like this clipping. I honestly don't really know how I'm going to do it besides making the table smaller and making the inspection, not go as far out. But besides that, let's actually go up it. So I'll show it later on, but I raised like the collision so the player will get appended at this rung because I don't have a key. I didn't want to make a key so the player can just jump off. So if he goes up, before he used to go down, but he never got off the ladder. But since I raised the collision box, all I have to do is go down and boop, it would append it. And I also made it because when I did a convex, I forget what it's called. It's this where is it? Yeah, once I did this collision shape and then single convex, no, the tri-mesh. No, I think I did single convex. Yeah, single convex. It would perfectly, make all of these. So, or it would the collision shape would bind itself to these metal gratings, and obviously that means I would fall through, which I didn't want. So I added a collision. I just changed the collision shape to a plane instead. But then the problem was that I couldn't get up through the ladder. So I had to change it in my script. Let's go to scripts. Yes, in my player script, it sets my collision mask to false. So basically I can clip through anything. But since I'm appended to the ladder, it doesn't really matter. So it allows me to sort of phase through my collision for the platforms. But then as obviously once I get out of it, it's turns my collision back on. So that's pretty much the only thing I did in my script. Yeah, that's all. The rest is in these two. Obviously, here's the tower. I made two scenes for a large ladder, which is the initial ladder, as this one is a 20 rung, while this small ladder is only like, I don't know, like 10 rungs maybe. But you can see all this collision shapes and then the large bodies. Let me just go back to the game. So yep, I could, but with this collision mask stuff, it kind of allows for weird stuff. Like the player can just boom, phase through the rungs, but obviously, they'll pop out. And another issue that I had was that because I originally wanted to have like a lock on these, but I don't think I'm gonna have time for it. So I'm just gonna make it So when the player gets to the very top, they're free to go up the ladders, up and down, and the trigger to the ending of the game is going to be a button that they're going to have to press, which, you know, it's going to make sense because it'll be like sinking the tower or whatever. But every time the player clicks it, it's not going to work, and maybe a message will pop up, or like the player will talk to himself and he'll say like, "Hey, I need to get those puzzles done," or something like that. But I raised the collision shape similar to the bottom rungs down there, where I raised it up so the player can, you know, smoothly land at the ground instead of clipping through. Well, I raised it a little high so they can just boop go down. Because before, obviously, oh well, this one's a little glitchy, but you know, maybe if I raise it a little bit, it'll fix it. But if not, you know, oh well. But at least it works. So yeah, the player can just go right down it. And or yeah, originally I wanted them to do, you know, each floor is a puzzle they have to complete before they go to the next floor, but obviously time constraints. So that is pretty much, oh, and yeah, so technically all of these, every single asset on here has a texture on it. Like you can see very clearly with the metal grates, these are supposed to be metal gratings, and then the fences also have the same texture. But this, like the main tower body, these have textures. It's really hard to see. You can only see it at the top, and you can see it on the sides. But like these little specks. Um, yeah, I really couldn't find a good metal texture for it. I don't have the reference image, but the reference, yeah, the tower that I'm basing this off of, it looks nearly identical to this, but the tower is literally all pure white. Like the tower is just speckling white. So I didn't want to just have the default asset color. So I just threw in these like metallic sorts. But so do the ladders. The ladders are supposed to have the same texture as this. You can also really see the textures on the ball up here. I tried to make it like it was, you know, metal sheeting layering the top of it, but it kind of came out looking a little wonky. But you know, that was just me messing with the UV mapping in Blender, which was actually a little fun. But other than that, that is pretty much all I got. But this should allow my next milestone to be pretty significant, as I'm hoping to get one of the puzzles done by maybe Wednesday, hopefully. Because I already have some references, I already have the ideas planned out for it, the reference images. I just need to actually make them in Blender and then do all the, you know, the sort of Godot sorting and all that. So that is pretty much all I have for now. Thank you for watching.